So just bear with me for a second. This should hopefully be working. You should be getting the notifications on your screen that this is going live on YouTube. And at the same time, this is also going on our otter.ai auto transcription services that you used to. If you click on the button on the top left of your screen, you'll see the view stream on custom live streaming service, I believe, and that will lead you to our auto page where you can see the live transcription. Back over to you, Yo.
Super, thank you. So folks, it has been 4 months where we have been attending cohort calls, we've been watching things on YouTube, we've been coping with far too many assignments, but we've done some of them, I'm sure. And we've been meeting with our mentors. And we've had some really great fun actually just learning about everyone's projects and seeing what everyone's been up to. And what we always do at the end of an OLS cohort is that we ask people just to present 5 minutes. And what you can be presenting, you may be talking about what you've learned, you may be talking about what you thought you'd do, but actually you've decided isn't the best idea. You may be talking about your future plans, or you may even be talking about how you're going to wrap your project up because you think that it needs to go in a different direction or things have changed. So we ask people to present for about 5 minutes. We don't have a bunch of presenters today, so if you want to go over by a couple of minutes, that's fine, but we will ask that you not take a half-hour slot. And if you do at some point, if you just hear me clapping very happily, everyone else unmute and clap as well, and that is our way of saying thank you, you've presented for a little bit too long and please wrap up. So we have viewers hopefully on YouTube at the moment, as Emmy mentioned as well. So occasionally when we are talking, we will try and make sure that we're aware that the YouTube stream viewers may not see everything exactly the same as people do on the Zoom call. Trying to think what else there is. We will monitor the YouTube stream for comments as well, so please feel free to drop comments in there. Emmy, I don't know if we've put the what's the word, Etherpad link into the YouTube stream, but that might be handy just in case anyone wants to put questions there as well. So we have 2 presenters today. We may have a third show up as well. We will run through 5-minute presentations. Oh yeah, questions after each one. Try and think of things that you've enjoyed about each presentation, and try and think about questions that you might want to ask as well. And please do share those in the Etherpad notes, in the Zoom chat and the YouTube chat, as it may be. Final reminder, which is something that if you've been participating in OLS for a while, you absolutely know, but we have a code of conduct. That means we ask everyone treat one another with respect, and in the way that you would like to be treated by others. The information is on openlifesci.org/code-of-conduct, or if you have the Etherpad open, that's line 16. And if you witness or experience anything that you think isn't in compliance with this, then you can report that either by emailing team@openlifesci.org or any of the organizers individually, and that's just our first name @openlifesci.org. If you have the Etherpad open, it is on line 18. Just a note about people having possible trouble with the live stream. If they refresh, does it still ask them to refresh? I don't know if it automatically refreshes on if they had it open. And with that, should I wait a moment before we launch off, just to make sure people can actually see it?
Just to say that there's been a duplicated live stream with exactly the same name that was when I was doing the tech check, so that was very inconvenient. Apologies, but it looks like the right link has found itself on Slack, so we're good to go.
Glad to hear that. Excellent. Okay, so in that case, I think we've done all of the intro stuff, and we will go to our very first presenter today, who is Ismael. Ismael, are you ready?
Almost. Just sharing my screen. I pre-recorded my presentation. Can everyone see my screen?
Looks good.
Okay, I'm gonna hope you can hear. Yo, if you can give me a thumbs up when I actually hit play and confirm that you hear my voice. Okay. Hello there. My name is Ismael Kherroubi Garcia, and I'm here to celebrate my journey throughout the OLS 5 cohort. First of all, a huge thanks to Lizana Paladin for the encouragement and patience throughout the project as my mentor. And of course, a huge thanks to the organizers behind Open Life Science, in particular to Yo Yehudi, whose support has been tremendous since the very inception of the project back in September 2021. So I begin with the project's vision statement. An incomplete history of research ethics provides a compilation of thought-provoking stories from our shared past. The project relies on community-led dialogue and rigorous research. Stories are delivered in short and long form, using accessible and fun formats. Through storytelling, we promote reflexivity across the research ecosystem. Of course, this is an open source project, as we expect here, and it is primarily developed through GitHub. There are at least 4 moments I'd like to highlight from my time at OLS 5. The first occurred during week 2 when Lisanna pointed out the potential links between Wikipedia and the project. I ultimately identified 2 directions of knowledge exchange opportunities between the two. On the one hand, an incomplete history of research ethics could learn from Wikipedia's own community guidelines and incentive scheme. On the other hand, Wikipedia is not great when it comes to providing a cohesive account of the history of research ethics. So I think there is a chance for the community behind this project to make changes to Wikipedia content in light of the stories that we learn and build together. The second important event was the activity to develop a project vision statement. So an incomplete history of research ethics already had one, but the comments from fellow cohort members helped to make it much more impactful, as well as a lot clearer. A third significant event was during week 11, when Lisanna arranged the visit from a marketing strategist. His insight was invaluable, as he helpfully challenged the usefulness of GitHub and suggested WordPress as an alternative. I don't think I will make the drastic change to WordPress anytime soon, but the different perspective was eye-opening. Finally, on the 26th of May, I conducted a pilot onboarding session with OLS veterans and friends from outside the community. It was an exciting event. I look forward to polishing the session in light of the feedback I received. And now a slide on what I effectively achieved during this my time with OLS 5. Of course, these are the goals I'd set out in my OLS 5 applications. So first achievement relates to feedback. I mostly got feedback in regards to the vision statement. I also got a great deal of feedback through the onboarding session, and which is more relevant to the workflows I'd envisaged for the use of GitHub. And this covers the second achievement. So that one gets a tick as well. The third achievement is about clarifying the different audiences that can be reached through an incomplete history of research ethics and how to best generate useful materials for them. I admit this has not been on my radar, and it might have slipped through the cracks. Finally, I aimed to gain maybe 2 contributors. I'm not sure how, but I kind of got 15. No, that's more than 15. That's 16 contributors during my time here. And I think what's most exciting about this isn't the number of contributions, but the encouragement I feel every time somebody makes a contribution, every time someone says something positive about the project. So there's a lot more to do. And I think that's what's exciting. With every bit of work that's done on the project, a bit more comes up. And here are a few ideas. If anyone wants to reach out via LinkedIn, via Twitter, or via GitHub, you all have me on the OLS 5 cohort. Please do. And thank you.
I always say at this point that I want to do like a proper whoop like you would if you're at a concert into the microphone, but that would just hurt everyone's ears, so I won't. I'll just explain it and then you can imagine that I'm actually whooping inside. So thank you, Ismael. I think I was absolutely mind blown by like how many contributors you saw up there, and then the little philosophical bit at the end where you say not the most exciting bit is that not the number of contributors but the way you feel every time someone actually does a little bit of help. I was partway through just transcribing that because I was like, I want to keep that quote forever. It is really good. So folks, if we have any comments, thoughts or questions about this, please do add them in. Line 54 is where there's room at the moment. We have a +1, someone else saying it's amazing seeing that number shoot up as well. So thank you so much, that's really cool. I'm just going to give a moment because I can see some words popping in onto the questions on the Etherpad. So we'll just let those questions gently filter in. Here we go. Great question. What's TikTok?
TikTok is the cheapest platform I could find. It's exactly free. And because we have extra time, I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to share my screen with TikTok on. If I know how. TikTok is this site, so I'll share the link in the chat in a moment. But when you open it, you get a brief intro to the project. Hit continue. And on TikTok, you can see a timeline. You see the year at the top, 1564 BC is in the middle, or BCE. And as you go back and you go forwards through time, you have a bunch of stories. So if I click on any of the story, Code of Hammurabi is one I actually worked on properly. You can read about the Code of Hammurabi and how this was 1755 BCE, they were already setting rules for dealing with bad doctors, which I think is kind of medical ethics 101. It's a bit gruesome, so any doctor who made a mistake, got their hands chopped off, maybe doesn't reach the standards we'd expect today. But I think it's just really fun to say, hey, look, 1755 BCE, they were already working on medical ethics. So this is TikTok. I'll share the link in a moment. Bottom left, there's a funny feature. It's not the most useful thing, but it's nice. You get a more 3D kind of look through time. Yeah, I'm clicking too much, so I'm going to stop sharing.
I love that Guitar Hero view that we got right there at the end, where it just felt like we were going right through time, and instead of hitting notes, we were just hitting interesting research ethics moments. So we have more congratulations from Kim and from Ariel on the YouTube channel. Let me just quickly check the Etherpad. Not that one. That one. A couple more comments. I love the way you started the presentation. I'm here to celebrate my journey with OLS. Ismael, thank you for your spirit. And a lot of encouragement around that as well. We've got some very colourful feedback going on there in the Etherpad. And more congrats. And how far back does the history go? What's your oldest event?
My oldest event is when I actually, it's a bit of a silly story where I kind of just let myself just have fun. It's from 3250 BCE, which is a clear first or very early, there's early evidence of writing back then in 3250 BCE. And I literally just wrote a bit of a story saying, thank the scribes, because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't know. What can I say on YouTube without being bleeped? We wouldn't know very much. So yeah, thank the scribes, and that's my story in 3250 BCE.
Okay, my brain is now creatively filling in what you might have said. Right, okay, one more huge round of applause. We're gonna move to the next one, and thank you everyone, and thank you Ismael, that's been super interesting and really delightful. Maya, you are hosting the next presentation, so over to you.
Thank you, Yor. Thank you, Ismael, for opening the celebration of journeys, and I'm so excited to present you the group project by Callum, Luke, and Lydia, called Hub 23. And just the floor is yours. I guess Callum is going to present, right? Yeah.
Thank you. Can you see my slides? Okay, so this is the Open Life Science Project Hub 23, and I'll explain to you what that means. But first, to give context, it's about who me, Luke, and Lydia are. So we work at the Alan Turing Institute, which is a research institute, and what we do there is work towards open and reproducible research across many research projects. And the key there, the key word for this project there is reproducible, because reproducibility is absolutely key to collaborative research. And this project tried to help that around the group in which we work. So what we planned, we planned three things, which turned out was a bit ambitious. So the first thing we planned was to deploy an institutional BinderHub. Now, what a BinderHub is a way of giving many users access to Jupyter notebooks or a Jupyter Lab interface on institutional infrastructure. And if you don't know what a notebook or a Jupyter Lab is, it's a way of running code in your browser. So this means that researchers at the Institute then have access to shared environments and computational resources. So it really lowers the barriers for collaboration. And so the plan was, once we've deployed that, we were then going to start building a community around Hub 23, which was really Open Life Sciences' strength. And we were going to upstream the lessons learned, mostly in the form of documentation, but there also might be some technical learnings too. So what we actually ended up doing was we spent the first half of the Open Life Sciences time obtaining funding for the infrastructure on which Hub 23 runs. So I'm not going to go into what the Binder Federation is, but essentially we spent a lot of time advocating and costing up and doing some analysis to support the funding for cloud computing credits for a cluster that then gives us the infrastructure for Hub 23, which was longer than I thought, but it was great that we got it, because without it, Hub 23 wouldn't work. And then in the last few weeks of the Open Life Sciences schedule, we then successfully deployed a prototype. So now we actually have a BinderHub, which people can go and log into, which is great, because it really feels like we're getting somewhere. And now we have a thing that we can play around with, and we can configure, and we can push forward with the project. So the next steps for us is to essentially move on to step 2 and 3 of what we originally planned, to start building a community around the BinderHub that we've deployed, and really learn from the potential users what they were going to use it for, so then we can configure it. So it's going to have this really kind of bottom-up configuration, which now we've been through the Open Life Sciences scheme, like we really have some good lessons of how to manage that. And lastly, I'd like to touch on what we gained as being part of the Open Life Sciences, or our Open Life Sciences journey. the first thing was the first few weeks of project scoping was really useful for us because it really made us hone what we were able to do in the time, and the task was really a lot bigger than we thought. Well, at this stage, I really want to thank Renato Alves, who is on the call, for that. So it's really hard to take the time to, because this isn't our like primary job. We were kind of squeezing in half a day a week if we were lucky. So it was really great having an external mentor to have that accountability and to really keep momentum on this project, which might have just trickled out otherwise. And now we have a little team, whereas like we didn't before. So now we're like the Hub 23 team, me, Luke and Lydia. So that's a great outcome. And also, I should mention thanks a lot to Sarah Gibson, who is constantly technical mentor to us, and that's our project. We look forward to continually learning from Open Life Sciences, because we will be revisiting the videos and the assignments throughout the next stages of building a community around this work.
Thank you, Callum. Thank you, the whole team. Let's make applauses and all the sounds to celebrate with reactions. And we're having lots of colorful feedback because Etherpad and puts different colors for different people. And I would, I would voice out some of the comments that are there. That, for example, someone says, I like the way you carefully explain the JupyterHub and Jupyter notebooks, what they were. And oh, Malvika is on video with Callum. That's a true interconnectedness of this world, right? And there's appreciation of that you actually spent half of the OLS 5 mentoring program, 8 weeks to secure funding. And thank you for letting us know about it and highlight the importance that it's really important to have some solid infrastructure. And there is a question if there are any tips about that. There are questions about how long will your funding last and what are the plans for sustaining this, if you can share some of them.
So the current funding will last for a year, but the kind of reason why it took so long is because there wasn't well, Turing had changed its Turing funding processes, and it was a bit unclear how to go about things. So one, it will be a lot easier to do next time, because also now I've kind of amassed all the evidence for how Turing's binder cluster is used. So that would be easy to reproduce. So the whole kind of process of getting funding is it will be a lot easier next time.
Thank you. There are congratulations from Ariel and Kim from YouTube chat, saying looking forward to seeing you promote this more widely at the Turing. And there is a question about how would you like people to use the hub? What kind of use cases you are most excited about?
Yeah, so the probably the most interesting use case is when researchers don't have access to the environments in which they want to run their work in, and also kind of shared environments across like the research groups. So that means that I know when a researcher is like on a train or something, they will still be able to log into to our BinderHub and have all the environments there for the reproducibility of their work, which I think is pretty cool. So that's probably like the kind of ease of reproducibility I really like.
Thank you. We're wondering maybe Luke and Lydia would like to share something about their experience in the program, or also thoughts on the questions and comments.
Yes, well, I'll speak through Callum's for fear of generating an echo and unmuting myself. But from my point of view, I can talk into this camera. Yeah, that's true. From my point of view, I suppose the biggest takeaway at one point that I really wanted to make sure was added to the slides was the point around the formation of the team. So I did not know what a BinderHub was or a Jupyter Hub, but I didn't know anything about Hub 23 because this is my first experience with that, and I'm reasonably new, although I think I'm running at a time where I can continue to say that I'm new to the Turing. But so while Callum was doing a lot of that work on the funding, I think myself, and I don't want to speak for Lydia, but possibly the same, I was just trying to learn what a BinderHub was and what the whole point of the project was. But were it not for OLS, I would not be part of the Hub 23 team. It would be Callum on his own, I think, or Callum with the help of Sarah and Renato. So yeah, but I really enjoyed the experience. I learned a huge amount throughout about kind of the technical infrastructure and the working in the open, etc. And learned a lot from Callum as well about how the Turing works. So yeah, I had an amazing experience that way through.
Yeah, very, very similar to Luke. So yeah, very new to everything about it, like the infrastructure, what Kubernetes is, all of that side. But it's been really good to kind of formalize the process of learning how to work openly. This is my first kind of more open project where I'm trying to start from the beginning, being very open and thinking about users in that way. So that's been really, really fun. Yeah, basically everything Luke said, just trying to figure things out, still relatively new to the Turing. And so it's been a really good experience working with the team.
Great, thank you. I'm just wondering, yeah, you were speaking about building a community and future plans, and the question is, how can others help you and contribute, and where they can do? There is a line 64 on the Etherpad where you can add the links or any information that can be helpful.
Yeah, thanks for the question then. The honest answer is currently I'm not entirely sure, but I assure you I will be reaching out to because I mean it's still part of the Slack workspace, and because like we only finished kind of deploying the prototype a couple of weeks ago, and there's still a lot to learn on the technical side. So I think the area in which OLS will be really helpful is when we start kind of trying to build awareness and getting input and kind of managing that in a nice way. So yeah, I'll definitely be coming back to the OLS community for that.
Point in the Etherpad there as well. So for anybody that is associated with the Turing, whenever we do launch, keep an eye on your email maybe, and the best way you could help us is to actually use it. So yeah, that would be good.
I forgot. This should be open for anybody, right? Not just for the Turing members.
Well,
it uses Azure credits. So
yeah, currently it's you need to belong to the Alan Turing GitHub organization. There isn't really. I don't know. That's a open question, I think, because there is already kind of global like good globally usable infrastructure for kind of reproducible science, like BinderHub. So I'm not sure how whether we can support a real global thing, at least right now. Maybe it'll kind of grow in the future.
Well, thank you. And I just want to wish you the best and invite again to congratulate if, if anything else wants to be said. Otherwise, we'll give microphone back to you to see if we have a third project or...
I think that's it. So we did have someone else register, but I suspect the internet may have cut out again. I was actually thinking while Callum, while you were presenting and saying, you know, people can use this on the train, that another nice thing is that if you have a long analysis, if it's running on the cloud, even if your internet cuts out, it'll still run, which is another nice point. But anyway, I think we're going to wrap up, folks. So we've got shorter graduations and more intimate graduations since we have 5 different slots. The next one is tomorrow, and there's another one the day after, and then there's a couple more in July. So what happens next if you are one of the people who's presented today? If you've already done the OLS, post-OLS 5 survey, fantastic. If you haven't, please fill that out today, and it'll be in your emails, in your recent emails. You should have one from the OLS team, and that will graduation plus filling out the form means you get your OLS 5 graduation certificate. Thank you, Ismael. That's the certificate dance, we call it. And we will also talk about getting people involved later. So if you're interested in coming back, maybe as a co-host or as an expert or as a mentor for next time round, then we'll be in contact around that as well. Before we go, group photo. Can we get anyone who's interested? If you don't mind your photo if you don't mind your face being famous and post it on the Slack, then open it up. If you would rather not, then keep your camera off. And I'm going to go in 3, 2, 1. Make your most OLS face. Amazing. I'll just pop that in the Slack. Let's have a look. OLS 5 cohort. Paste. Beautiful. Anything else, Emmy, Malvika, that you want to add, or shall we just wrap? We're good. Okay, right. We love you. You are beautiful. This has been an amazing journey, and we will not be strangers. Bye, everyone on the YouTube stream. Thank you for coming along, and thank you for asking questions. Be beautiful.